Look, my office is always available to you. We got over 60-some-thousand people that we represent, and it's not easy because we average almost 40 to 50 to 60 to 70 calls like every other day, and it's not easy. And I just have one person in there full time, but I do have an intern, and now we have a mentor. So be patient with us, because I'm pretty sure people call in the office right now, and he's sitting up here, and he's mad you ain't got nobody down there answering your calls. So that's what they be telling me. But the problem is, we try to do our best and represent you. And it's not always easy, and as the thing said, the old saying go, I won't be able to please everybody, but I hope I can please as many as possible. And I look forward to representing you. If I don't please you, please smile when you see me. So don't smile at you. And remember, we're all in this together.
Amen.
And I'm just doing what's best for this community. And that's it, we can make our place, community a better place to live. And I thank y'all for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Real quick, Mr. Councilman Red, as you leave in respect to the issue about the United States, I can backstand with that. I have some clarity as to what they're doing. So we thank you again for coming out and giving another hand. And moving right along, we have mentioned that we have Cory, is it Kammerdiener? I don't want to mess that up. It says that he's going to be speaking on foreclosure counseling, but here he will be speaking on home ownership and the process, as well as the state of the housing market, not foreclosure counseling. So Cory, would you come?
First thing I want to say is the mayor is probably not going to knock that house down, because if someone owns that house and is paying property taxes, then that's a friend of the mayor, okay? So, and that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about today. But first I want to introduce myself. My name is Cory Kammerdiener. I'm a pastor, I'm a businessman, and I served the country for 13 years. I served in the Navy on nuclear power submarines. So I'm someone that understands that when I'm given an order, I'm going to follow it. And my life has been designed to be someone who is sent out to accomplish missions. Now, I didn't want to come to Tampa. I didn't know anything about Tampa, but the Lord gave me an order. And he said, you go to Tampa because that city needs you. Who am I to rebuke the Lord? So I came not knowing anything about Tampa until I actually got here to Tampa Bay. And one of the things that we do at our firm, our company is called newhomeprograms.com. We are a Christian real estate company, and we're also a ministry. One of the things that we do is we help the first-time home buyer to be able to get themselves prepared to be able to purchase a property. Right now, it's no secret that the state of our nation is in calamity right now. Technically, we're in a time of famine. And what the Lord had showed us was, in 2007, that the economy was going to go down, and the start of it was going to be real estate. Can anybody deny that our economy is down and it's because of real estate? Okay, so we know what the Lord spoke, it was true. But he said that he would use real estate to lift up the economy, but this time around, he's going to do it in a way that is going to bless his people. Now, if you have the documentation that we were handing out at the front, everyone have it? If you don't have it, look at your neighbor. You can go ahead and share with them. What I did last night is I wanted to run statistics on foreclosures and short sales that are in Tampa, okay? I'm not going outside of Tampa. I'm not going to Brandon, Lutz, Wesley, Tampa, because this is a Tampa thing. If you look at the first handout, at the top it says inventory report. Based on foreclosures and short sales that are listed with a real estate company. The reason I say that, there's homes out there right now that are bank owned, and they haven't even put them on the market yet. Have you guys been hearing about that? Banks are holding back their foreclosures because if they release the next group, it's really going to put the city in a downward spin, right? So these are homes that are actually listed by a real estate company. These aren't homes where people right now are on the brink of losing them to foreclosure. So These are active on the market right now. In Tampa, there's 849 homes that are either foreclosures or short sales. Okay? Now, if you look at the total price, the sales volume of the 849 homes, that's $113 million right now that nobody's paying property taxes on. Now, let's just say that the average tax rate, 2% on average. That right there means that every year that these homes stay vacant and nobody's on the tax roll paying this property tax, that's $2.2 million lost, vanished from Tampa. We're talking about this problem starting back in 2006. So now we understand why the city's in a deficit. How many people know the city's in a deficit right now? Okay, a lot of people are uninformed. Well, I'm here to tell you that the city is in a deficit. With property taxes, who gets that money? Does anyone know? The city. What does the city do with that money? Logistics, okay? There are services that are provided through the property tax. For example, we had a police officer that was in there. I don't know where he went. But through property taxes, the police department gets some of that money, school teachers, some of the public hospitals. 911 gets paid through property taxes. You got city taxes, you got county taxes, you got CDD taxes. Those are all property taxes. So can you see where I'm trying to go with this? When tax revenue is lost from the city, the first thing that's going to happen is public services are going to go down. Hence, teachers are getting laid off, the police departments are downsizing, the fire departments are downsizing. Can we see how the state of this economy, based on real estate foreclosures, how it's already affecting the community? Okay? So, with the inventory report, if you look over to the far right-hand side, it says average DOM. That stands for days on market. That means out of 849 of those homes, right now they're averaging 166 days left vacant. What happens when you leave a house vacant? Causes more problems, right? I heard someone say crack house. Yeah. Things start to happen. That's why we have meetings like this where we complain, hey, look at that house, it's abandoned, bad people are coming in, they're using it, we don't want that for our neighborhood. So it's not just about the loss of income. What's going to happen is people will take advantage of these empty homes, and it's going to bring, to be honest, a curse in our communities. And that's what we don't want, okay? So if you turn to the second handout that I've given you, this is a price analysis report. Because I understand that a lot of people, they don't know their rights to be able to purchase a home. A lot of people don't know that they can actually afford a home. How many people in here right now believe that they can afford at least $600 a month for a mortgage? How about $400 a month? Okay? Based on this report, it's going to show the price range of the homes that are right now foreclosures or short sales. The bulk of the homes, which are 312, are right now listed for $50,000 to $99,000. That's a house payment of $400 to about $750 a month. 312 homes right now with a payment $400 to about $750 a month. Did you guys know that the prices of homes have come down that low? Where almost any person that has a job for 2 years can now go get themselves a house. Did anybody know that? Okay. Well, now you got the data and you know. The Word of God says, my people perish for what? Lack of knowledge. Now, the thing about the economy is, banks went out of business, home builders went out of business, okay? Real estate companies have gone out of business. Those three things have been affected. But the most important thing that has not been affected in this economy is the people. It's even more people who want to buy homes now. So people in this economy, the people are a commodity. You remember the days of Joseph when grain was the commodity. And even if you had $1 million in gold, your gold was useless. You can't eat gold. Right now in this economy, the people, they are the commodity. So a logic person has to If so many people have the desire in their heart to own a home, why don't we find a solution? We have 849 homes right now sitting there waiting to be purchased. Tampa Bay has almost 2 million residents in the Tampa Bay metropolitan area. How is it possible that 849 homes at a good price are still sitting on the ground? It's because the people, they lack knowledge. The number one thing right now that's stopping a person from buying a home, can anybody guess what that is?
Credit score.
Credit score.
Credit. How many people know that a credit score is a mathematical calculation based on 5 factors? I'll be the first one to tell you my highest math was geometry. Okay, I'm not a math person. But I'm going to show you the formula of how credit scores are calculated. And this is why the Lord sent us to Tampa. He said, look, this city is in devastation. And I'm going to use real estate to bless people, but you have to give them knowledge so that they can gain that blessing. Okay? So, on your third sheet, it's called the 5 factors of credit scoring. Any person that comes to our firm, this is the first thing that we do. We provide them a free credit report, and we educate them on how a credit score is calculated. Because once you know how the score is calculated, you can get yourself in a position to get that 620 credit score that banks are requiring to get a mortgage. Okay? The lowest score that a person can have is a 300. The highest you can have is an 850. A lot of times people say, oh, my credit's so bad, I'm probably like 100 credit score point. There's no way you could be 100, okay? 300 is the lowest you can go, and an 850 is the highest. So mathematically, the most points that you can get is 550 points. If you start at 300 and you can go up to 850, that's a 550 point spread. You follow? Okay. So out of 550 points, we got to figure out how can we get the most of those points. Well, I have a chart here, and it's the 5 factors. The first factor is how you pay your bills. That's 35% of your overall score, which means 35% of 550 points is how much? 192.5 points. Now here's the number one dilemma that most people are going to have. They got bad credit, they got charge-off, they got medical bills, they got, cable bills, cell phone bills. Once their credit scores go down and they don't have any open credit, then how are you going to maximize 192 points when technically you don't have anything open to prove to the system that you pay on time? How many people have been in that situation before? People say, but I got bad credit, so how can I get credit? Well, you know what, you can. It's called secure credit. How many people have heard of a secure credit card? If you got bad credit, I guarantee that First Premier sent you something in the mail, or your bank sent you something in the mail, because those are companies that understand that if you defaulted in the past and you want to reestablish credit, they're willing to give you a credit card, Visa or MasterCard, with a deposit to secure that credit line. Capital One will actually give you a secure credit card for $99. You give them $99, and then they give you a MasterCard with a $99 limit. And once you practice your credit and you become responsible, isn't that what the word says? You got to be a good steward of what God gives you. You be a good steward of that credit limit, and what's going to happen is you're going to start to take advantage of up to 192 points. Okay? So if you start at 300 and you maximize 192, right now you're at a 492 credit score. Okay? It's all mathematics. There's nothing tricky about it. It's nothing magical. It's math. The second factor is revolving balances. That's credit cards. A revolving credit line is something where you get a limit, let's say a $1,000 credit card, or a secured line of credit with your bank for maybe $1,000, and you can charge it up and charge it down, charge it up and charge it down. Okay? An installment loan would be like a car payment. You do a contract, 24 months, 36 months, whatever amount of months, and you pay the same amount. And when you finish with that last payment, they close the account. That's an installment loan. Well, if you have credit cards, based on how maxed out you are on those cards, you have the opportunity to gain 165 points additional to the 192. Now, people would say to me, are you telling me I've been trying to get a house, struggling for for the last 5 years. And all I had to do is go get me these little $100 secure credit cards. I'm telling you it's the truth. Even God says the simple things, it confounds the wise. I've been doing this since 2004, helped hundreds of families. And God lifted this company up as a national real estate company, bringing the same strategy city to city so that we can give people that home ownership that they've desired, that the Lord put in their heart. A secure credit card can get you a house. It's based on you being a good steward of managing it. Okay? And that's 30% of your credit score. So when you add getting a secure credit card to being responsible and making sure you keep your balances low, that right there is 65% of the battle done right there. Okay? Factor number 3 is the length of credit history. That's 15%. You'll notice that when people have 700 and 800 credit scores, it's because they've had open accounts for many years. You know, their credit cards are paid down low. Okay, they haven't been late, so they have good payment history, but they have a track record of many years of having open credit. Once you get your credit established and time goes on, you actually can benefit up to 82.5 points. Now, when you see where I'm accumulating it to the right-hand side, just by having credit history, paying on time, keeping your balances low, you're already at a 740 credit score. I've taken people with a 0 credit score, and in 6 months, we've gotten to a 700 credit score. What happens when you have a 700 credit score and you walk into a bank?
You get everything.
They bow down to you. Why? Because banks are driven by money. That's who they serve. When they look at you, they don't even want to see your face. They want to see your credit score. And based on when they see your credit score, that's how they judge you. They'll turn you down and they never met you personally. They base it off of a credit score. The higher your score, the happier they get. The 4th factor is a mix of credit. That's only 10% of your score. But still, that's 55 points. A mix of credit would be like having a car payment. Then you open up a secure line of credit, which is revolving. Then you get your house, that's your mortgage payment. Those right there are 3 different types of credit. It's like diversifying your portfolio. You now are going to get a little bit more points because you have a track record of tapping into different types of credit. The last factor, which is credit increase. This is also 10% of the possible score that you can get. This is 55 points. Now, credit inquiries, okay, those are given to you by grace. Everybody has it. When you start to have people pull your credit, guess what happens? You start to lose from that 55. Someone pulls your credit, you're going to drop about 3 points. But in the mathematical equation, there's a systematic lock, and it's to prevent you from being in fear of shopping around to get the best rate. Who's going to go to a car dealership, get your credit pulled, and then say, well, I'm scared to go shop around at the competitor because my credit score is going to drop again. So there's a systematic lock. If you get your credit pulled by the same type of business, you can get it pulled multiple times within a 14-day time frame, and you can only get penalized once. Now, if you go on Monday to Ford and try to buy a car on credit, and then Tuesday you go apply for a mortgage, and then Wednesday you go apply for Walmart's card, that's 3 different types of transactions. The systems at the credit bureau are going to say, hey, this person is just throwing their Social Security out there. They're probably the type of person that's going to take whatever credit they get approved for, and that's very risky. You should only use credit when you need it. And you need credit to get a house. The guidelines on an FHA loan, they want at least 2 open lines of credit. 12 months, good payment history. If you do not have open lines of credit, then you can't prove that you can pay anybody back. You can't say, well, I pay my rent. Well, of course you're going to pay your rent. Nobody wants to live in the streets. Well, I pay my car. Well, of course you're going to pay your car. If you didn't pay your car, how would you have a job? So they want to go above and beyond rental in your car. They want to see other types of credit that necessarily you probably don't even need those lines of credit. So they want to see that you're responsible. Okay? So with that being said, you're starting off at 55 points by grace. So really the lowest you can actually have is a 355. The lowest I've ever seen someone's credit was probably like a 389. And that's because they were delinquent on every single thing that they had. So telling you, the Lord would not have sent us to this city against my will if he didn't want to bless people. And that's what we're telling the people. If you desire to purchase a home, God put that desire there. Come and talk to us and let us show you how you can be able to purchase that home. Okay?
It's been a pleasure of meeting Cory and his wife, Millie Wade, several months ago at the Housing Committee meeting, and I was very impressed how the Lord is using it. Being a pastor myself, I saw how God is using this young man. We're going to be partnering